This movie was brought to you by DwayneWright.com, FileMaker Framework Solutions, virtual one-on-one FileMaker training, consulting, and custom design services. For more information, please visit www.DwayneWright.com. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne, and this is another quick tutorial movie on some FileMaker setups and techniques and what happens if. In this movie, we're going to chat a little bit about the relationship graph and one of the options to automatically delete child records of a parent record when the parent record itself is deleted. And that helps you keep away from having orphan child records. Let's bring up the question that inspired this movie. Two tables connected with the auto-delete related record setup. What happens if the parent table is deleted from the graph entirely? Are the records that were related to the parent table deleted by the action of the table being removed? What about if just the parent table occurrence itself is removed, but not the table? Let's go ahead and bring up FileMaker. So here we are looking at our test delete file. We have two windows open. One window is showing table A and one window is showing table B. Let's go underneath the hood real quick. So here you can see our two tables, table A and table B. Table A right now has got one record in it and table B has 6 records. Let's get to the goods of the relationship. So here we have table A. And in its relationship, we're using a field called PK underscore table A ID. So PK is one thing that I use to identify my primary key, which means that every time a new record is created, that field will have a unique sequential data string inside of it, used as my primary key. Now over in table B, we're linked to a field called FK underscore table A underscore ID. This is what I use to determine my foreign keys. Foreign keys are the other side of the relationship from a primary key. So they are the child table, and it's related to the parent table only by that unique primary key record. You can have all kinds of relationships in FileMaker, but this is the one that says the only thing we got going on is a primary key to a foreign key. These are match fields. That's another term that you'll see when two relationships match back and forth. But these are also key fields. So that means they have a lot of unique instances in them. Now, if we take a tighter look under the relationship, in the lower right-hand corner, we can see some specifics of table B defined. The first one is allow creation of records in this table via this relationship. So what we're saying is that table A can create new records in table B on the fly using the relationship of the primary and foreign key that we talked about previously. Another option says delete related records in this table when a record is deleted from the other table. So that means if I delete a record in table A, any records that it may have linked to table B are deleted as well. And that helps keep out what we tend to call orphan records that have lost their parent. They just kind of take up room. They may show up on reports when they're not really relevant anymore. And these two settings, and particularly the delete related records, is something that you have to take a little bit of thought before you click that box. And you probably ought to do a little bit more testing before you roll it out. Got a lot of blog entries about it and that type of thing. Now, what our question is saying is that not so much are we going to delete a record from table A, which again we just, via our settings that we have, delete the associated records in table B. But what happens if we delete table A entirely? Okay, so we didn't individually delete the records, we deleted the entire table. What happens with those records? Because we have this setup of delete related records in this table automatically selected. Now, were these records in table A really deleted when the table was deleted? Well, of course they were, but is that an appropriate trigger for this deleted related records in this table selection? Because its intent was if a record was deleted manually. Or was it? I don't know. You know, it really kind of depends. We just gotta take a look at that. And the only way we could really take a look at it is to do it. So before I do that, just so that we can experiment, I'm going to go ahead and copy table A, because I'm using FileMaker Advanced, and that's a feature we can use. I'm going to go ahead and paste it so we have it here just in case we want to play with this relationship some more, some quick setups. So what we're going to see, here we're looking at our one record that's in the current table A. It has a record called colors, and it has related records of red, green, and blue. So these records are not related to anything. They were at one time, but, and I'll go ahead and take that out, because I already know the answer to this question, because I already just did a test. So this old table 1 is not in there anymore. And that might be a bit of a clue on where we're going. So here we go. The only record that we have, one record total in the table, it's table a record 2. We have red, green, and blue. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and add in yellow. And as I commit this record by entering the enter key, you'll see yellow appear in our table B. Boom. So now you can kind of see how the auto-related works. And, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do this well. Let's go ahead and create another record, and let's call this, oh gosh, I don't know. Let's call it weekend days. So we're going to create a new record in table B, and let's just go ahead and add in here Saturday. And you'll see Saturday come up, and it'll be linked to our parent key record 3. Let's add in Sunday. So, going back to table B, we have 3 records that are not related whatsoever to a parent. We have 4 that are linked to record 1, and we have 2 that are related to our second record. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete the weekend days. And you'll see the intended purpose that when this parent record is deleted, these child records are deleted as well. Let's go ahead and delete that record. Boom. So we deleted our weekend record that we created, and you can see that automatically our linked records were deleted. So that was the intent. So now back to our question. We're not going to really delete these records manually. We're going to delete the entire table A. Will these related records automatically be deleted as well? Or will they exist as orphans? So we're going to delete table A. That's going to also delete this occurrence right here. It's going to break that relationship. I'm clicking the delete button now. We get a message, delete the table, and we're also going to click remove the table occurrences from the graph. And why I click the delete, by the way, we can see right now that table B's got those 7 records, so that count may go down or it may not. Depends on whether or not FileMaker considers the deleting of the record an appropriate trigger for deleting the related records that were in that relationship previously. Table A is gone. And we see that we have our 3 fields, and we indeed got our 7 records. It did not delete the related records. They existed after it's going through. Matter of fact, we go back to our layout here, you can see that we're no longer even attached to the correct layout, because layouts themselves are attached to table occurrences. We go into layout setup, And you can see that our layout name table A, it's no longer even linked to a record. I'm going to go ahead and link it to our table B. Let's go ahead and set up a new relationship. Oop, I don't think that was quite right. I got that backwards. Now you see that, and I kind of did that on purpose, you can kind of see that what is left and what is right really depends on where the table occurrence is in the graph. So you really need to pay attention to that. If you move things back and forth, we really don't want those selected here. We want those selected here. And if we go in here and rename this table A, you can see that it updates our relationship graph. Now that doesn't automatically reattach the table. Let's go ahead and reattach the table real quick. Oops. To attach the table, we just got to attach the fields again. Let's create a new record. And let's call this and we'll add in here scripts, calculations, layouts, and relationships. And you can see that now it's, creating those records on the fly. And gosh, I don't know. Let's go ahead and just do a quick recap. Our question was, two tables are connected with the auto-delete related record setup. What happens if the parent table is deleted from the graph entirely? Are the records that were related to the parent table deleted by the action of the table being removed? And our answer to that is no, they are not. What about if just the parent table occurrence itself is removed, but not the table? So what we're talking about there is not deleting the table, but just simply deleting the occurrence. And as you can see, it had no effect on the records whatsoever. Just go ahead and add that back in. And anytime that you do that, you may have to go back in and set up your context for a particular layout. Now we won't have to redo the portal because that is still the right, that actually fixed when we set up the new relationship. So back to our question. What about if just the parent table occurrence itself is removed but not the table? Are the records that relate to the parent table by this action being removed? And the answer to that is no. So removing the table or removing the table occurrence is not an appropriate trigger to have the automatic delete related records option to execute. By all means, take a look at it. Experiment with yourself. And if you decide, again, I can't stress this hard enough, if you decide to enact this option, test it and think about it carefully. Actually, maybe do that the other way around. Think about it carefully, then test it. And one other tidbit that I would recommend, if you do have this set up in your relationship graph, I don't use a lot of colors, but when I have something that's set up for auto-delete, I do tend to color that layout object red. It's kind of a danger, Will Robinson visual aid that table occurrence has a delete constraint on it on that side of the relationship. Do you have questions or comments about the video you just saw? Please feel free to email me at info@dwaynewright.com.